everyone. Thank you for joining us on today's FOA Live. Excited to be on here with you on this Monday. I will let you know that first and foremost, before it comes out any later in this show, that Rush and I have jumped on to spend time with you today after being in Austin this weekend for the Formula One race. And if either one of us leave the camera today, it's going to be because Rush is going to give me a little bit of a hard time for the fact that the emails we kept receiving from the airline said to make sure that you were at the airport 3 hours before your boarding time. It might have said destination, but I'm not willing to give into that. So we were at we had a 4:30 a.m. Austin pickup this morning, and we were at the airport. Could have been like 3 hours of seated time before we needed to board. So there's been a little banter going on prior to this show today and some fatigue. But it was a great weekend in Austin. Lots of really cool people. I'm going to keep talking so that Rush can't get a word in now that I've shared that story. And we're going to do a little bit of basic housekeeping, but we are really, it's such a privilege today to have with us as our guest, who will pop on in a few moments, Consuelo Vanderbilt. Consuelo, of course, 7th generation family member of the Vanderbilt family, and has such a rich and incredible story to share. So we look forward to having her jump in with us and share a bit about her background and more importantly, the amazing things that she's doing today. Singer, composer, songwriter, designer, actress, philanthropist, entrepreneur, and just an amazing force. I had the pleasure of being introduced to Consuelo a couple of months ago now, ahead of New York Fashion Week, where she held an amazing event. And now we have so much fun going into Art Basel in December. We'll be partnering on something with Consuelo, so she'll share that during our call. Rush, anything you want to share? I guess some housekeeping about the upcoming events over the next couple of weeks, and then a month from now, some more F1.
Yeah. Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever everybody is, coming in from. We appreciate you taking the time to spend with us. F1 was really fun. We had some adventures getting there and also leaving, but all in all, it was a great event. Had several people from FOA out, and just a really nice weekend. The rain held off. It was pouring rain when we left for the airport this morning, so lucky for us that didn't affect the race. We are going to F1 Vegas, so if you have interest and have not reached out, please reach out to Jennifer or myself. We're finalizing plans for that. And then we'll be into December, and Art Basel, as Jennifer had mentioned. We look forward to that. I think this is the third year in a row that we've done something in Miami for that event. It's culture rich, just really fun event and great place to meet people, make connections. So if you have any interest in that, please reach out as well. So I know we're a little pinched on time today, so I don't want to take too much of it with housekeeping. Please reach out with any questions that you have on what we have coming up, or just visit the website.
Awesome. And so, yes, I want to say Consuelo's been such a sport because sometimes things just happen. And so today's been a tech day in terms of just one thing after the next. And so I'm sure you'll find as we invite her in, just such a pleasure and determined to get through this. And so, Consuelo, I know you can hear us as we're welcoming you in. So thank you. And I think, just a lot of fun. It's always a true gift when you meet people who have incredible stories to share and doing incredible things, and then also can have a lot of fun with it, especially when things don't go quite as planned. So with that, excited to now make the most of our time with her. And Chloe, if you'll bring Consuelo in, we'll want to welcome her.
Hello.
Consuelo, hi, we got it.
Hello. We're here. It's
Yes.
amazing when technology actually really works. You get very excited and you're like, oh my God, I have to go through the,
It puts things in perspective. It's like the little wins in the day.
It's so true. And and I have to say, you both look fantastic for your 4 a.m., 5 a.m. journey. I'm just saying, the two of you look wonderful.
Thank you. I feel like it just got us a head start on the day rather than being a problem. Rush had a lot of time to put it all together for this show today.
As do you, Consuelo, and thank you. Yeah, I had plenty of time to put my face on.
To do the cleanse, to do the, it's important.
Yes. So Consuelo, thank you for taking the time. I know we have a lot actually to share today, and it means a great deal to be able to have this conversation with you in general, but also you and I had the opportunity to discuss this a little bit earlier. And Family Office Association exists. Our mission is really comprised of unite, thrive, and give as our message, and that's with the goal of preserving legacies for multi-generational families and empowering tomorrow. And so the rising and next generations of families with the goal of bettering the world. And so we really try to stay with those three pillars of the community. And so having the opportunity to jump into this conversation, we've got so many families that have, as we continue to expand Family Office Association, who are coming to us and saying, look, I'm taking over as a next gen in my family. I'm now responsible, and I may have had all the opportunities that come with being the next in line in my family, but also the challenges of preserving that and actually not becoming that statistic or that story where things don't make it to a next generation, dealing with the pressures of somehow not being allowed to be a person who has stresses and problems and the enormity that sometimes the name can come with. You've really obviously dealt with all of that and have such an incredible story yourself. If you wouldn't mind, would you just share for everyone who maybe doesn't have all of the pieces together, some of your background, how you understood your world and how that kind of came into full view for you and really where you are now?
Absolutely. And I think all of that, everything you just said, I think we're in a very, very interesting juncture in kind of, I would say, in moving that along of the younger generation and really understanding what they have, the power to be able to do, the influence that they actually have, and the difference that they're able to make. One of the things that and I would really kind of start here is that moving back to New York. So I was born in New York, but moving back to New York and seeing the world through adult eyes, I would say, appreciating my family and the legacy and what Cornelius built, and kind of taking on that, I would say, the responsibility in my own, I would say, pride, but also in a very powerful way about what I wanted my voice to be. Having been a singer-songwriter my whole life, being signed to a major label in the UK and having a wonderful career as a creative, but never really utilizing the Vanderbilt name. I was always under one name. As a band, it was under my last name. So I was very important to me that my music was always known in its own right, not known because of the family that I came from or anything else. So as I said, kind of flashing back to today and being here and seeing this through an adult lens, the appreciation that I have for what was built back in the turn of the 19th century, and his incredible to be a visionary at that time, and really kind of understanding what he was trying to do to preserve wealth, to grow, to keep everything inside of the family. To your point, was truly beyond profound, to the point where when I went to visit his wonderful tombstone that became a national monument in New York, I was told by, you'll love this, I was told by the caretaker that I wouldn't be allowed to ever get buried inside of the mausoleum, to which I'm like, Mama, what? I'm just, what? Well, why can't I? They're like, yes, you married outside of the family. You didn't marry your cousin. And I'm like, yes, and incest is best. Just saying. Happy that I didn't make that thing, but thank you so much. It's sweet of you to say, and a little awkward, but anyway. So
If you're going to be roadblocked, I guess that's a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
Just saying. 10, 12 toes. I don't know. But anyway, no judgment to anyone, cousins, married, just saying,
If you're listening, no judgment.
I have no judgment. I'm very, very open, but I haven't made that choice, but just saying. So what I do understand and what I do believe about the preservation of wealth and understanding family office and the infrastructure of it, and really having spent time now in this space for the last 2 years and met some extraordinary individuals, is really about the kind of the power that it is about continuing on what your legacy is and expanding and to be present in modern day. So really keeping your eyes, ears open to everything that is going on and all opportunities that one can actually start to build upon what's already been and existing. So being brought into the board of the Vanderbilt Museum and Planetarium, which is one of the greatest gifts, which was my great-great-grandfather's property. It was then donated when he passed to Suffolk County. He wanted to keep everything because he was an incredible voyager. He wanted to keep everything intact. And they've done an amazing job to preserve his legacy, to preserve his history and our story, really, I would say. So I have, nothing but unbelievable respect for the tradition of building what is family office infrastructure, the legacy thereof, and to be a part of the community and to continue to keep growing and to work with my generation really about the new waves of thinking and ways in which we can be more socially conscious, on so many different levels. So that's kind of the beginning, middle, and end, and we can obviously go into a lot more detail, but just to give you, surface view.
Well, I think that connects really well because from everything I understand and from our conversations, your family's legacy being so intertwined with philanthropy, it's been clear that you really sought to continue this and evolve it, and obviously create your own identity, but still stay connected to that philanthropic commitment. And so can you talk about that, especially as it aligns with you've been very successful in terms of the music career you've built, and it seems like that and the arts and fashion have all come together in a way that's allowed you to do both. And so would love to talk about that a little bit more.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So I think that one has a responsibility, to be honest, when you are given a pathway in any which way to give back. There are so many causes in life, as we know, and there's so many things that you can contribute and be a part of. It's impossible to do everything, right? We all know that. But I think what one does, and what I definitely have done in my life, is chosen things that are important where I really feel that I can make a difference. So starting out, my mother sadly contracted ovarian cancer. And at the time, I didn't know anything about what female diseases look like. And I joined the board of the Ovarian Cancer Coalition of Greater California. Gail McKenna, who was a 35-year survivor, one of the greatest women on this planet. Sadly, she passed away, but my goodness, there was no one. This woman was approximately 4'11", but she felt like she was like 6'5". I mean, she could do anything. There was no saying no to this woman, and she was an absolute fighter. And through it, rather than being a kind of traditional organization, we did everything that was completely different. So from donating songs to art galleries that we then donated paintings, that everything was outside of the box in order to really build an extraordinary organization that in the long run, the only thing that we were looking for was research and to find a cure. And sadly, with these types of diseases, it's a horrible long haul. But my mom was my biggest inspiration, and I became a legislative ambassador for the American Cancer Society. So this really started to, I would say, my journey into, again, something that my mother meant everything to me, and something that I wanted to make sure that I was able to help her and to give back. And through music, writing songs with my band that we donated to the cancer organizations that I then toured with and gave back in that way. That was kind of the beginning, I would say, to my philanthropic work. I've always organically supported people that didn't or couldn't or needed to have a voice in some which way. And I didn't even know what that meant, but just really trying to help and advocate for people. I'm definitely a gregarious fighter. I don't stop. I'm relentless. You say no to me, I say what? What's no? No means yes. There is no no. There's never a no. And that's kind of always been who I am. And so more recently, I got involved with working and my company. I'm so proud of this. This is the first intellectual property that we've been able to acquire. But someone who was on death row for 25.5 years, an innocent man who was a musician, and helping to build and give back his life, helping to, and what I mean, be very careful on that front, being able to honor his story and to be able to do the best justice that we can for him. So working with the Innocent Project and being able to help on that end. So that's, I would say, kind of a circling like everything that I try to do in any type of philanthropic situation that I get involved in. Again, it's something that is absolutely, for me, comes from a necessity or a way in which that I believe I can do something different. And so let's going back to the question you started about being an artist, having been signed, having had an extraordinary career of working with amazing musicians and talent. My last 5 singles did very well in the US and toured around Europe, which is amazing. And what I started to see in the freelance economy was that everything's very fragmented and creatives are multifaceted by trade. So I'm a singer, I'm probably a dancer, probably a producer, probably a songwriter. And if you're not of the 10% in the world, the rest of the 90% have multiple agents. So am I spending my life as a creative, updating my profiles, taking care of my agents, building websites, it's not really as a creative what you want to be doing. Not so much. So I'm like, well, what would a world be if I actually created a membership-based community that was all vetted so that anywhere, in any given city, if I'm putting together a fashion show, music video, a film project, that I could really go in and find both below the line talent and above the line talent, and you can package that within any given city. So the world of Soho Muse was really birthed again out of necessity, losing makeup artists, losing dancers in real time, and having gone through this experience myself. And so I put music on hold 4.5 years ago and dedicated my life to building my company, Soho Muse. And that is exactly what we do. We're an entire ecosystem when we provide jobs for creatives. We have built an entire ed tech platform to help to give back. We work with the younger tier to work with colleges and high school students. So that really was kind of my both being an entrepreneur, being an artist, understanding a necessity and a need and a void in the marketplace to come together. And more recently, which is, I'm so grateful to you, Jennifer, and to the Family Office Association, to being involved in sponsoring. We did and partnered with Emilio Estefan, one of the greatest music legends of all time. I'm talking an enormous amount, and I'm so sorry. Like, if you want to interject at any given point, because I could really ramble on. Like, if anyone's getting bored out there, just come on in and talk to me, because I am just like a rambling rabbit right now. I'm like, well,
and, it's funny because and Jim, just we are going to do actually a whole episode on tech startups soon. Actually, we're going to do a special pop up on approaching family offices, and because that's actually really important, and if done well, it can be very successful, and if done poorly, you pretty much ensure that family offices will never attend another event again. So we have a really vested interest in helping that happen right. So I promise you, I will circle back to you offline, and we will. I would love to help answer that question for you. So, but Consuelo, as you're sitting here having this conversation, I know that we're all in in our respective places today and our conservative backgrounds. I have had the pleasure of being with you at New York Fashion Week, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's coming up in December. But for anybody who hasn't seen, we did a post during New York Fashion Week while you were doing the photographs with Emilio. But anybody who checks out your Instagram and your amazing following, which I don't think there's enough years left in my life to get to your following, but your posts are, but just the amount of energy. So I refer to you as being a force, which is, I actually reserve that for a very limited number of people, but so true. So anyone who's seeing the white background today and obviously very professional and demure and accomplished, I love and appreciate that in terms of getting things done and moving the needle forward. I hope that people have the opportunity to see you in person and work a room as well, because it is clear that as you hit the stage, it's where you are meant to be, and it's so impressive. So again, thank you for even that opportunity. And so with that, would love to just talk about Soho Muse and how you are bringing that vibrancy and that energy and talent to your mission. And then if you don't mind, maybe sharing what we have coming up in December.
Of course. So, and I so appreciate you saying that. I mean, when we're talking about force, look who I'm looking at right now. I'm sorry. This woman's absolutely amazing. She's managed to do with this organization. So just saying, right back at you. So where Soho Muse sits in differently, we compare ourselves in the sense of, I use this verbiage, we're the LinkedIn for creatives, because understanding when we're talking to anyone in finance, anyone in business, it's a way in which you can kind of get your head around, okay, I see a membership-based site, I can see the job opportunities, I can see that. But in essence, we actually do everything that LinkedIn doesn't do. LinkedIn is corporate. We're creatives. Creatives aren't corporate. Creatives, as I said, don't want to be spending their life building technology, updating websites, or spending a lot of money working with web designers and web hosting. That's not what we want to be doing. We want to be creating. And in a $2 trillion business and growing exponentially, what do we do to help to enforce this beautiful, extraordinary community? One of the things that I find incredibly frustrating is a musician can go to Berkeley and spend years training to be a perfectionist and brilliant. Also, similarly, you could go to school and you could train to be an attorney. Now, they both come out of school. Attorney X immediately gets paid. You're not going really to that attorney saying, can you do pro bono work? Please, just one sec. Can you just to a musician, it's like, well, of course, but you're going to get the gig and then the gig and you're going to meet this fierce person and this is going to help. And really? When did that precedent was set out, like back in the day where it said, as a creative, we should do everything for free? No. Why? Absolutely not. So everything in my power, everything that we stand for is about building the world of creatives that actually we do make money, and a lot of money, and we're really talented. So it's not just, and this is where actually changing the precedent and from what the parents are thinking to encourage their kids to actually want to get into this world, especially we can get into a whole AI conversation. But don't discount this world, because there is so much money and there's so much that can be done. So my entire intention, and when we built the Younger Tiers, to try to really help to encourage to build mentorship, internship, job opportunities, that we're really working with these young creatives all across the board and our creative working professionals, from the Nicole Millers of the world to Academy Award winning nominated directors. Our database of members is extraordinary. But building them a world where they have opportunities, so that a young kid who's in India, and I'm sorry, you can't imagine the type of people that I meet all the time. What do they need? They need job opportunities. They need to know that there is a place that they can actually go and find a home. I met a beautiful young singer, 13 years old, yesterday. She's like, all I want to do, I need to find writers and producers, because they all know that that's what there is, but they're like, we don't know where to find them. So that's our world, and that's why. And I think it's so unbelievably important, and that's why I put music on hold, to dedicate my life to all the skills that I don't necessarily know that I'm doing in real time, to learn to be great. So partnering with Emilio and understanding that the Latin American industry, Latin America in general, is 18% of the population of the US. They need a voice. They need a home. They need help and support, just like every other community, right? And so we were able to build, with your wonderful support, one of the most extraordinary events at the Guggenheim during New York Fashion Week, where that world, both not only the extraordinary designers that we featured, but all of the models, the makeup artists, the hairstylists, everyone that participated, what happened? They all got paid and they all got elevated. And we had more press, and it was so unbelievable what happened, because why? This wonderful community got supported, and they were heard, and they were felt, and they were there, and they were present. So to me, that's the greatest gift we can ever do, getting our world jobs. And so now, moving to the big announcements, which is so exciting. We're doing an event with you guys. What a gift for Art Basel, the opening night of Art Basel, because why would we do anything like this? Right?
Right out there,
We don't
right?
do
Open
anything. There's
no.
nothing small over here. No. We go out,
Yeah.
we go big,
It'll
and
be
we
amazing.
go home. Absolutely. So Art Basel, December 6th, so beyond excited. It is going to be fantastic with Emilio, and we're going to kill it. And you're going to see the best talent. You are going to have the most exclusive experience. And of course, as an amazing partnership with you, coming out during Miami Art Basel.
Well, super excited. And Consuelo, I know we talked a little bit about potential theme a little bit earlier today, and that's getting buttoned up. So for anybody who is interested, and I know we've actually been getting a steady stream. Art Basel's been a big FOA event for a number of years. And so for a good the last 6 months or so, I've been getting emails asking about Art Basel. So there'll be a lot of people excited to start to see the game plan for the week come together. But so please keep an eye out. And Consuelo, I know you also very graciously, you and I discussed the fact that for FOA, we are rolling out our philanthropy and our impact group as part of our overall mission to back to that making global impact. And that's a community that Rush leads. So what I'd encourage for everyone is we're going to be, speaking a lot more about this and the rest of the events that Consuelo is involved in and how she's moving things forward with Soho Muse and this mission overall, because that's something through the impact community and the site we want to make sure we're sharing as well, and through our members and friends. So this won't be the only time we hear about this from Consuelo, because we want to make sure it's threaded through the messaging we're sharing. And again, so those who have questions or want to know how you can be more involved or lend support, please reach out to us, and Rush I'll take the lead on that. And so Helen, thank you for being on with us today. And I'm going to take a minute and read through, and we'll make sure we share your comment and questions, any questions with Consuelo. And I know she can see your comment as well. So we'll walk through that. Consuelo, anything as we really near the end point of the show, what do you see as the next steps in terms of the roadmap for you with Soho Muse? Obviously, there is so much happening right now with artists looking for recognition and for opportunity, and for even with obviously AI and the technology changes. Now, not only do you have the labor conversations and the compensation conversations, but now sort of a head-to-head with technology and how to keep everyone's identity and talents, really unique and their own. How do you continue this forward, and how can someone make a difference?
It's such a multifaceted question, and I'm going to try to summarize and break this up a little bit, because there's so much that you just brought up.
Yeah, Rush is probably grinning because he's like, there were 20 questions in that one.
There was. So and Rush, please interject, because you can see I can just talk to myself, and hopefully So
I'm taking it in. I am enjoying it. So
that's good. Now, if you said you weren't, that wouldn't be so good. Okay, so starting with the first question that you asked, where is Soho Muse and what's the next steps? So just as we've opened our doors into the Latin community, and I'm hosting something with Nina Garcia on December 7th, which is like the Met Gala for the Latin awards, which is absolutely amazing. So this is a continuation of, again, and next year we're now doing the Guggenheim again. So this is very exciting with Emilio. And so our world is about really now helping and expanding and working with these different markets, and really just kind of helping in every which way we can to open doors, job opportunities, and to open markets. So obviously Latin America being one, moving into India, moving into Asia, and to really being able to focus as much as we can into the help, into the aid of getting people jobs, kids opportunities and mentorship and internship opportunities. And as my company grows, my goal is to basically build us into the next production company studio, because if we are the job and we're taking and doing work on all the IP, then you're attracting talent from across the world. So that's Soho Muse's goal, and that's kind of working it out in increments. And I hope I answered your question. And of course, anyone who's interested, please come to me and talk. And for your kids who are interested in joining, sohomuse.com. So please, we're here for you and for this extraordinary community. Secondly, the building. I also want to offer to your community, to the Vanderbilt Museum and Planetarium, anyone who is not gone, please reach out, and we will arrange special tours for you. We will help in any which way we can to give you the most extraordinary experience, but everyone must go. It is in Suffolk County, which is about 15 minutes away from New York. So please just let us know anytime you are here. It would be our honor to be able to host you. So that's second.
Thank you. That's incredibly generous. Thank you very much.
Of course. Now, AI, technology. Yes. What's happening in this crazy world?
You just entered Russia's world right now, so now he will take over from here.
All right, here we go. So, what's going to happen? What is going to happen in our crazy worlds? Is AI going to take over and we're all going to become robots and there's not going to be anything left? I would have to disagree, because, and I really could get very blunt, and I'm going to be so PG right now, but the thing about creatives, differently than any other type, is when it comes to being a songwriter, being a singer, you can't. There's just a few areas in this world that robots cannot replace. And I'm sorry, you cannot replace your heart. You cannot replace hormones. As much as they may try, they may say to us, well, that's really happening. Just saying, sensitivity, that's why I'm saying this PG. I'm being very PG right now. You're definitely not going to get that. And so you cannot replace our world. And it is that one industry that actually will always for the rest of, human nature, and that's what we are. That's what we do. We make people feel, we emote reactions, we entertain, that's what we do in this world. So my whole thing right now is to make sure that I bridge, and I'm kind of the conduit between understanding the business and technology and understanding creativity and being able to merge the two together so that it actually makes sense. It makes sense to you as a business, and it makes sense to our creative world that we're not going anywhere. We're still thriving. We're going to be great. And as we keep expanding and learning more about AI as it keeps growing, we're on the forefront. Again, that's what makes us intuitive and brilliant, and that we can see things too. So, yes.
Well, again, back to my comment before, if anybody's going to keep this all under control, I have no doubt it is you. So I have no doubt. I believe you're on it. Yes. So
did I miss any other parts of the questions? Did I miss something that you said?
No, I mean, I think the first response wrapped the majority of it up, and then with AI, I completely agree with your take on the arts and comedy, and they're just intricacies in humans that will be very difficult, if not impossible, to fabricate. And some of those things that make a song or a joke or a situation relatable and funny is not a walk from A to Z. It is tangential, and humans, talented, funny, however you want to categorize them, as creatives, have a unique way that is different in looking at those, and mapping that out through technology would be very bland. There's singers that when they sing or through their lyrics, you can emote with them and you can feel what was going on. Just like comedians, when they tell a joke, they bring you in. So it'd be hard pressed to think AI is going to be able to fabricate that at least anytime soon. So.
All right. Well, you heard it here. We're gonna track this, and we're gonna come back in a year, and we'll see where we are. And so I mean, I agree as well. I think there was a recent test of dating a robot, I think, or there was some kind of episode. I'm sure there's been many, but it sounds like it came up with kind of the same answer to an already complicated enough. That's all we need, right? Is the dating show for AI and robots. But in any case,
Now,
so Helen, I do want. Sorry.
That would be fun.
I was gonna say I think in a year with more development around it is we can come back, we can touch base with this, and Jennifer and I can come up with, through some different AI engines, a set of 4 or 5 jokes that we can tell, and then Consuelo, if you don't mind, we could do a sonnet or a song and have you sing it, and we'll just see if we'll see what the audience reaction is to it, because I think that would actually be quite funny.
I do. I'd love that. I think that's a really great idea, and we'll do this, and then we'll actually, what you could do is you'll bring on like certain guests, and we'll blindfold them, and then we'll see.
Okay, well, so no one takes this idea. This will be our FOA show, Consuelo, with you. But I guess if you can have the costume, I'm dropping the name of it right now, but the costume singing show, right? There's no reason this couldn't work. This could be amazing. The next hit. So I do want to pause for a moment though and say, Helen, I did get the chance to read your what you did write in, and very sorry for what you experienced. Consuelo, her message goes back to what you were stating early on about your family experience and your mom and her passing. So Helen, your message does get cut off at the end. So if you want to send that to me directly, I'd be happy to share it. And thank you for sharing that with us.
Please, and I'm so sorry, I did not see it. So if you want to share this with me, and
I will.
I'm so
I'll send
sorry.
it over for sure.
Yeah, please. So I'm sorry, Helen, for whatever you experienced, and look forward to reading your comments.
I will send that. And Consuelo, so if you mind, I 2 more questions, and then Rush will close it out. But I want to just ask a question about your jewelry. So I have to say, so homage, correct? Am I saying that correctly?
No, it's beautiful. Homage.
Okay, so inspired from what I understand by your family's history, but also making it so that it's appealing to today's for today. How have you married those two? How are you inspired to create it in the first place, and what's the journey been with the company?
So number one, I have to say to anyone who's ever done this or is thinking about doing this, I will say that this is probably one of the greatest mediums that I've ever known on this planet, and there is no skill sets that you can actually really truly go into training to do this part. And I mean this. The hosts. So I'll backtrack for 2 seconds. So I was on HSN. We launched the line and did an exclusive with HSN. HSN, which then merged with QVC. So the understanding that you literally walk into a studio and that you have a host, you have a producer, and you're in your ears and you're watching, and it is a world within itself that basically you're able to touch so many people so fast through the sound of your voice. So almost feeling like it's like old school radio, but in real time, right? And you're juggling because everything that's happening is you're upselling a situation, but you're talking a story and you're telling them. So the reason that beautiful story that won the Oscar about the mop, right? Remember that beautiful? Did you see that?
No, Rush will know what you're talking.
Okay. Everything is about the practicalities, about the love and the passion and who you are and and what makes your product something different than anything else, and why it's so personal to you that you get other people to want to go and buy it. So when you kind of get into that concept of what that looks like, and for me, it was, I love my family's jewelry. I'm so honored by the pieces that I inherited myself. But I'm also, because I'm not a big jewelry person, just like I'm not a big shopper, even though most people probably think that I am, but I'm not a normal girl, and I don't really, I get anxiety shopping. So just FYI, that's strange, but we'll talk about that another time. I know he's like, Rush is like, you're crazy. This isn't true. I'm like, no,
I'm the same.
Not a crazy shopper by any means. So it really, that wearing these beautiful pieces is also really daunting, to be honest. Like, I mean, I inherited my great grandmother's ring, which is so beyond gorgeous. Like, you want to be able to enjoy it and embrace it, but in this, like, you're like, oh my God, I feel uncomfortable about wearing this as well. So traveling, and so being able to come up with a line that actually embraces my family, appreciates the wonderful legacy, but it's actually affordable, that it's actually something that you can wear. And, I would say you can feel like a princess for a day, because you know what? These pieces really they made me feel that way. And if I'm genuinely feeling this way and I'm talking to you, this is not me even selling to you. This is really me just talking to you. So I'm like, and you too for $49.99. Like, it's just, and I never talk about money ever in my life, but that's really how that extraordinary medium kind of came to be, how I was able to be there. And, from performing in front of 2 people to 250,000 people, there is nothing on this planet like it. And it was an honor to be there, and I loved every second of it.
That's incredible, and thank you. And so I'm going to close it out. Rush knew he was a little bit of disadvantage today, first of all, because he's always very kind and polite, and so you get 2 of us on, he doesn't get a word in. He knew it was coming.
Come on, you can talk. What do you? Let's just, this is like speed dating right now. What do you want to say?
I was going to shut him down and end the show. See, you're so good. All right, Rush, you're up.
Yeah, she was going to pass it to me. I think my takeaway, and we'd met last time I was in New York, and we had a brief conversation, and I agree with Jennifer's take. You definitely demand and command attention, and so there were 40 or 50 people at the dinner, and so my time was short-lived, but I look forward to having a more in-depth conversation at Art Basel. But I think the takeaway for me is, of all the opportunities, having several Billboard top 5 hits, all the opportunities you have with museums, philanthropy, businesses in general, that you took a step back and looked at creating a platform to provide opportunity for the individual and to grow a community that is focused on connecting people and bringing those people voices that they may not have. You could have continued on your path and with your legacy, and you have decided to put that on the back burner and to really challenge yourself in a business that you yourself had said you're kind of learning as you go, to be selfless and build that platform for people to have their voice. So my takeaway is that that's a very selfless and incredible thing to do. And while I'm not musically inclined, I do quite enjoy what creatives bring me, and the joys and laughs and and fun that they provide. So from one person to another, I thank you for being selfless enough and also seeing that is something that's needed today.
Oh, that's very, very lovely. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you saying that.
And so, Consuelo, if you could share that with families who are trying to find their own footing. I talked about this as we were forming the philanthropy peer group, is that we have some like yourself who have really figured out what their purpose is, their mission, and how they want to carry that forward, and others who say, I have means, I have now a role in my family where I can make decisions and I can contribute, but I'm not exactly sure how I want to do that. And some who are still a step away from doing that. So with all of the opportunity and all of the ability to choose your path, how would you suggest for someone else that they hone in on that and again make the most of the legacy they have and still charge into the future?
Great, brilliant question. I think what's always important, and again, I talk about advice and suggestions. Anyone that knows me, because I really do believe that opinions are like a PG again. I'm not saying anything, nothing.
I'll do the separate Consuelo show later.
Exactly. We'll do the PG version and then
yeah, so we'll come back.
Very, very, very tame. I do believe that that's the truth. I talk in suggestions, just saying. I think that's what's really important. It was even, if I were to tell you, finding myself as an artist, how many people from label executives, producers, constantly telling me my name should be this, my hair color should be this is the kind of music that I should be making. And you get lost. You get completely lost because in the long run, it's you finding your voice. It's you finding the truth. My truth to be able to share that with the world. Similarly here, your family legacy and what's been set up already, that's one thing, right? And you got, now the world is like open. You're going, oh my God, well, I could do a little bit of this and a little bit of technology and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And you're kind of like, I think the long run, it's really looking at this. Just as I started out in the philanthropy conversation about why that was important to me to embark into that journey. When you close your eyes, what are you passionate about? Like, what makes you get up and say, you know what, today's going to be a great day because I really care. I care fundamentally about this. And only you know that. Do you know what I mean? It's not for someone else to really guide you into that. And then once you know that that's the umbrella that you want to get under, right? Let's say in the area of technology, then you start to, because there's so many aspects of technology you could get into, then you start to really dissect and you're like, well, okay, now as a family, what would be interesting? What would I want my new part of the legacy to start looking into, right? Is it the AI component? Is it this? Is it right? And so I think that that's a way in which you break it down for yourself in a way that's always truthful to who you are, what you want it to be, standing for obviously what's already been built, and then giving yourself additional opportunities. And don't be swayed. Don't just because it's seemingly the market's doing this and you should run to that. If you become an ambulance chaser, for the rest of your life, you're never going to really be happy with everything you're doing, right? You've got to chase and find your dreams and find your intentions. And life is short. I have a dear friend who's literally kind of created a roadmap of time, how much time we're actually living on this planet. And it's not a long time. So, my God, let's all do something wonderful and things that we love and live a great life. That's, what a journey is that?
Well, I think that is an amazing way for us to wrap up the show today. I would say if you didn't already have Art Basel on your plans, obviously now it needs to be, and we'll need to get you to Miami in December and to yes. be part of this incredible event. So very excited. We'll continue to post more as plans are solidified. There's already some good things in the works that we'll be able to share very soon. So Consuelo, thank you very, very much for the opportunity. I'm so glad that New York Fashion Week gave me the opportunity to meet you. And then recently, again, at the dinner, Rush mentioned the reconnect, but just the opportunity to what you're doing, obviously so important and valuable, and the overall commitment to just families coming together and leveraging all the opportunities to pay it forward, I think is we talk about all the time. We're all in businesses where we want to move the needle forward. Having opportunities where you're just able to step back and do good and make a difference is a great way to have a part of your life and be able to spend it that way. So thank you for your time. Rush, I really appreciate you. He's gonna we'll be back next week on FOA Live next Monday. Really appreciate everybody jumping in. The comments that we didn't get to, because I saw a bunch came directly to my inbox, we will share with Consuelo. We will follow up, and thank you again, everyone, so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you for having me. It's really been wonderful. Thank you.
And Chloe will pull us out. So if you all don't know, I always hang up on this. And so if anybody's still hearing, we're practicing.
Chloe is the mastermind.
We're practicing this because we always all hang up and then I get in trouble. No, she's going to